Welcome back to Bang Bang Bourbon. I am Tom Knighton, and joining me as always, my partner in Crimes Against Humanity, Mike Piwowarski. Mike, how the hell are you, man?
Bang bang bourbon, baby! I love it. I love it. Episode 3. Here we go. Here we are coming straight at you. I'm loving this. Loving every time we do it.
Absolutely, man. This is a blast. So we tagged something on at the end of the last episode. We had already stopped recording when we decided, hey, let people know what bottle we're gonna have.
Yep.
Then they can crack it open with us as they watch.
Yeah, right.
I go through the thing, even though it's not a live stream. It feels live.
They could join us. It'll be live to them. First time they watch it.
It's even if it's not live, it's alive.
There you go. There you go. Exactly right. Right.
We'll go with that.
There you go. I like
All
it.
right.
I like it.
So we figured out what we're going to start with, do today is Maker's Mark number 46.
Number 46. Now I think you got the new label on yours. I got the older bottle. Same stuff. Yeah.
Right. This came out. This is the label they started using in 2023.
Yep.
A lot of people have the older bottles still.
Yep.
You can still find them on shelves from time to time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I actually like the old bottles a little better personally.
Yeah, they were the older bottles were the specialty blend bottles where they did the cast strengths or the special blends, and now they've gone to it's the standard maker's bottle that it's in. Yeah,
I've got the store pick that is the same bottle basically.
Correct.
It just doesn't have the 46 on it.
Correct.
But now the 46 is, like you said, it's the regular maker's bottle. It costs like $5-10 more than regular makers.
Yeah.
And regular makers is not an expensive bourbon by any stretch. So I mean, this is totally affordable.
Yeah.
You can probably find this in any liquor store that normally carries makers.
Yeah, absolutely. And if they don't, it's an easy ask. It's available to get. It's not a special blend or anything like that. It's just another in the maker line.
Yeah, this isn't blends. This is, it's like if they don't stock it, it's because they probably don't think anybody's going to buy it. If you ask for it, they'll get it for you.
Yeah, exactly.
And if not, find another liquor store.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I say all the time. Say the same thing with our on the gun side. If your dealer doesn't stock them, tell them you'll be back when they do.
Yeah, and let's be honest. If a reputable store wants your business, they're going to do what they can to get it, and that includes saying, "Hey, I can get a case of Maker's 46. I only want one bottle." Well, tell your friends to come and buy it, and it'll stay on the shelf.
Yep, so, exactly right. I'm trying to find the retail price on it here real quick, so let me get that up.
Yeah, because I mean the MSRP and what Mike can pay for. See, Mike and I are not that far apart geographically, but we are in different areas.
Yes.
What I pay for something and what Mike pays for something can be very different.
Correct.
Despite being a day trip away.
Yep. A Maker's 46, a retail at a big national chain. How about that? We'll say that $35.
Yeah, I think that's what I paid for this one.
Yep.
Paid about $35 for it. Back in probably mid 2023.
Yep.
So
let's see, a standard bottle of Maker's should be running anywhere between 25 and 30. Let's take a look on here.
Like I said, $5 to $10 more.
Yeah, $25, and then 35. So, and these are typically ones you'll see on sale too. Makers will go down a couple bucks.
And it's like I said, it's not allocated. It's not hard. I don't know that it's allocated anywhere.
No, definitely
not. Allocations are weird. I know some of you guys may have trouble finding like Eagle Rare. I can buy it at every store in town.
Yeah. It's strange. It's just certain places, certain places.
I know people who are like tripping over themselves finding Buffalo Trace, and I'm like, which store do I want to buy it from this week?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they've got it at my Walmart liquor store,
But one I've been looking for is an Irish whiskey called Writer's Tears. You can't find it locally.
I have not seen that one. Locally. I do check the Irish whiskeys as well.
Yeah, it's I can't get it. Can't get it locally. I got friends who buy it all day long. I can't get it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I can't get Writer's Tears here. I just know when I put in, I don't see it in any of the local stores. And when I put in the nearest place I can get it, it's like Tallahassee.
Oof, that's a little bit
I'm
of a ride.
Yeah, it's like if I drive an hour and a half, I'm going to do a full bourbon hunt.
Yeah,
I'm going to hit like
yeah,
6 or 7 stores.
right, right.
I'm going to make a thing of it.
Yep.
I'm not going all that way just for one bottle. It ain't that good.
No, no, no,
Be-
no.
You know,
Yep.
Now if it was something like, King of Kentucky for under 100,
Sure. Little,
Pappy 21 at
yeah, little,
MSRP,
little pappies.
drive
Yep.
it.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll
Exactly.
drive, pick up 3 bottles, sell 2 of them, and retire.
Yep. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
maybe not that bad, but I mean, you get the point.
Close
You know,
to it. Yeah, close
I
to it.
can make enough. I can make enough to make it worth my while that way.
That's right.
With something like Writer's Cheers, it's just not going to happen.
Right.
So on this one, you can probably get it locally.
Yeah. Yep. I
This
would say. I
shouldn't
would
fall
say
into that
so.
category.
Yep.
And if not, it's probably not too far from you.
Yeah. Yeah. You go in there. They probably got 5 or 10 bottles of regular makers, and they got at least 3 or 4 of these sitting there right next to it.
Yeah. Now, what makes Maker's 46 different is it's French oaked.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
tells me nothing. As I understand it, they actually suspend some French oak staves in the barrel as it ages.
That's what they do. Like you've got that specialty blend you just had there. Pick that one back up. Let people see that one again. So you got that's regular maker's mark, right? And then they take
Mhm.
there's 5 staves they can put in there, and they're all different kinds of stave. One is the French oak stave, and you get to
Yeah.
pick which kinds you want. So the person, the person that's made for goes in there and picks their 5 and puts it in there. And they've got more than just 5. So there's dozens of them that you could pick. So you could get all sorts of different flavors and tastes out of these hundreds of different profiles. But the
Yeah.
the 46 is the one they do with the French oak staves inside of the barrels while it's aging.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat because they have the barrel with the torch sides of it, the charred sides, and then they put another strip over the top with the 5 staves sticking down into it. In fact, I've got the staves. Are they in here? I bought a bunch of the staves. You could buy the staves when they're
Yeah.
done, and they sell them for whatever you want. We use them for. I'll put them on the grill and like do salmon on top of the staves. Put 2 or 3 of
Ooh,
them together. And then
neat.
after that, you can you chop them up and use them in the smoker, or you could use them just throw it in the fireplace in the house and get that odor throughout the house.
I know some people who've gotten the staves and used them for like accent pieces on woodworking.
Yes, yeah, yeah. They've got a when they sell them because you could buy the staves at the gift shop there. They come in packs of 5, and they don't
Mhm.
tell you which ones they were. It's just a hit or miss which scents or flavors you get. They come sealed in a plastic bag and they're still very moist from
Yeah.
being in there. So they're really nice.
Yeah. You can buy them online from them too, for the record.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're barrel height, what 2.5, 3 feet tall, something like that.
Yeah.
About 2.5 inches wide, about a quarter inch thick.
And if you get really desperate, I suppose you could just like snort them,
Yeah,
Hunter Biden style,
you could.
to get the fumes in,
Yeah,
just to
yep,
kind of like, I want to enjoy bourbon before I go to work, but I can't
yeah,
drink,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
you know. Um,
Just chew on the wood like it's a piece of sugar cane.
exactly. So how about we go ahead and pour us some?
All right, all right.
That's the best part.
Let me
Well,
open this
second best
puppy
part.
up. Open this
Best
puppy
part is
up.
drinking it.
I'm gonna give it a smell. Here's the pop. Let me see if it pops.
Yeah, see, that's another reason I like the old bottles, because this
Yep,
has got the screw top.
yep. It's got the old cork in it.
It's actually the one disappointment I had with this was I bought it, I popped the seal, and I go to try to
Pop it out, and it's a screw
pop
off.
it out, and I realized, crap,
Yeah,
there's no
but
cork here.
it's definitely brown sugary.
Vanilla. I
Yeah,
get a lot
vanilla.
of vanilla.
Definitely getting the vanilla. Yeah. Oh yeah. It smells delicious.
Yeah, and
Smells delicious.
it's a 94 proof.
Yep.
There's almost no ethanol smell to it to me.
Yeah.
And see, I got a pretty healthy pour.
There you go. Yeah, I got about 2 fingers in there. So
You
a
know,
little more.
I went with the Glencairn today because we're doing more
Yeah.
of a tasting thing.
Yep.
And I don't think I actually have drank this out of a Glencairn yet.
I've got those. They're actually sitting. Let's see. So for next time, I'll have
Yeah.
we'll have the same one.
Um, and like normally I drink it out of the rocks glass for
Yeah.
just regular sipping. That's what I prefer.
Yep.
When I first got into whiskey, I had a rocks glass, so that's kind of what I used.
Right.
Uh, got the Glencairn because I wanted to see how they would help with taste,
Yeah.
smell,
Yeah.
etc. Uh, I do like this better for getting a scent.
Yep. It
It,
does.
it just it kind of funnels everything right up there to you.
Yep.
Um, but this is I am actually looking for ethanol and can
Yeah. Sometimes
barely
just
find
barely
it.
getting it. It's the only notice the difference I'm getting between the bottle and this is this. Now that it's opened up and breathing, I get just a whiff of it.
And for the record, I'm looking for it
Yes.
just to see if I can find it.
Right.
If you're not looking for it, it's like now I probably won't be able to not be able to miss it because I've already found it. But
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, the brown sugar, vanilla, maybe just a hint of caramel in there.
Yep.
Maybe not a lot,
Yeah.
but it's I'd wear this as cologne.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You know. Uh, but now the best part.
Yeah. Initial taste. Here we go. Here we go.
Okay.
It's just so smooth.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's. I guess I get just enough of a burn
Yeah. Yeah. It's just
to
enough to let you know that you're having an alcoholic beverage, not some synthol craziness. Some
right, right.
non-alcoholic thing.
It's. I'm not going to mistake it for tea
Right.
by any
Right.
stretch.
Right.
Uh, there's there's definitely a little bit of sweetness to it.
Yep. But not super sweet. Nothing
No, no,
like a Southern Comfort or anything weird like that. It's just enough to say, hey, keep tasting me. You like me.
yeah. It there's no mistaking it for a buff raced product, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
It does not have that kind of sweetness to it.
Hmm.
But there is. I mean, 51% corn. If you don't have sweetness to it, you
Yeah.
might want to double check their mash bill.
Yeah. 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 Using the wrong kind of corn. Using that good
Right.
Afghani corn. Uh,
um, get a little bit of a almost like a plum, some kind of stone fruit there in the middle.
yeah, maybe. I mean, I one of the things I look for when I'm looking for them is that citrusy, and this does not have the citrusy, which is good to me. The citrusy means the mash bill got a little ruined, unless it's an additive they're putting in it on purpose. But um,
Right.
yeah, plum like a weak cherry kind of taste almost in the center,
Yeah.
but not sweetness. It's just
Right.
that little bit of added flavor in it, almost like they had, did a little drop of this, little drop of that.
Yeah.
And this all
Yeah.
natural. This doesn't. They're not putting brown sugar, caramel, any of that in there. It's
No.
just the way it creates itself and presents itself.
You you take the wheat, the barley,
Yep.
the corn, because
Yeah.
this is a wheated bourbon. We
Yep.
talked about this a little bit, I think, last week.
Yeah.
But this is a wheated bourbon. It doesn't have rye, and I'm not real big on rye. Wheated bourbons are kind of my safe space in a way. To use a term that I usually make fun of, it's just a happy place for me.
It
And
is.
so I know if I try a wheated, I know what I'm not gonna get, and that's that rye spice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Like I said, it's got a
and
little bit. I'd almost call it warmth on the back end. It's
yeah,
not a spice. It's a warmth on the back end.
right.
It says
That's a good way to put it.
don't drink me and drive is what it says. On that back end. Um,
Yeah,
Good stuff. Now, have you had the chance to go to the Maker's Mark Distillery?
I have not. I have a friend who did
Okay.
and brought home a barrel that he had gotten to dunk.
Right. Okay.
But I've never had a chance to.
Um,
It's on the
I've,
bucket list.
I've been there a number of times over the years. First time being probably, geez, over 25 years ago now. And they didn't have anything special set up. They had like a little gift shop. You could buy some stuff in there, but it was like going to, an industrial manufacturing place, and it was just,
Because that's what
they,
it is.
they owned a lot of property. They had the still houses where they aged them. Um, and it was, you got to go into the gift shop and that was about it. And over the course of time, it is like a resort now. I mean, it is absolute, and it's on hundreds of acres, right?
Mhm.
And the part you get to tour is probably 30 or 40 acres. Uh, it
That's
is
not small.
no, it is it's like absolutely perfectly manicured, from the stone walkways to the Kentucky bluegrass. It's the flower gardens. They've got these old walkways over the creek that the water comes from naturally that they use for
Oh,
this. Um,
nice.
it's it's amazing, and it's multiple sites on the tour. You get to go in the original old still house, which is half built into the side of the mountain there, for
Mm.
for for you know for temperature control. Um, uh, the gift shop's ridiculous. You get whatever you want in there. You get to see the whole distilling process, the tasting process. And you're going to walk a mile while you're there. Just on all the tour. Absolutely a
Well,
beautiful place. Beautiful place.
that's good because it's in room you can carve up.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's in Loretto, Kentucky. I know it's about uh, 30, 40 minutes outside of the South Gate at Fort Knox. That's how I know it's there. Um,
Okay.
it's if you've never driven on 2-lane windy Kentucky roads, well, you're going to if you're going to Loretto. It's a I
Worth
mean,
it.
yeah, you're going on 50-mile-an-hour roads, and they just dip and turn, and there's no sides and fall off, and it ends at the line on the side of the road. And just when you think, all right, I'm doing pretty good. I'm driving these roads. I'm doing a pretty good speed. Some 16-year-old a pickup passes you going 90 like he's been doing it his whole life, and he has. So
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
like getting
I
passed by the Duke boys.
I got a friend of mine that lives outside of Montgomery,
Okay,
and I go up to see him usually a couple times a year.
right.
And the route there is mostly, like you said, 2-lane, 50-mile-an-hour roads.
Yeah, yep,
And I'm sitting here, I'm clipping along, thinking, "Yeah, I'm doing good." Then some good old boy just goes past me like I was standing still,
yep,
and I'm like, "You know what? You know where the cops patrol. I'll let you."
yeah, yep. It's really great scenery on the way in. Two things I remember about going in there is there's one farm there that's got this mill looking thing that's off in the distance, and it's this
Mhm.
giant thing in the air, and you look at it and you're like, what kind of space alien contraption is that off in the distance? It's absolutely ridiculous looking. And then the other one, and I know I've taken pictures of it. I should have pulled it up. There's three of you got these little 2-lane roads. Well, at one point, three of them meet, and the Kentucky route numbers are one's Route 24, one's Route 7, and one's Route 365. So right there at the corner, the sign says 24/7, 365.
That is a great intersection.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a great intersection.
yep.
We do have an intersection here in town that I like better, but it's not highways.
Okay.
We have a corner here that is literally the corner of Lonesome and Hard Up roads.
Oh, nice, nice,
Um,
very nice.
it's actually, like made a lot of lists of strange street corner names.
Yep.
Um, like nobody lives there. There's no business there, but
Okay.
they intersect. It's also supposed to be the most haunted area in town.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm not stopping. Uh, I'm not. I'm not hugely superstitious like that, but I'm also not going to, poke the bear. It's
it, it it's one of those things that teenagers, college kids will drive down those roads
right.
in the middle of the night as kind of a thrill.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I've done it. I've done it once, and I can just tell you it was boring.
Yeah. Well, that's
There
good.
was nothing there.
Good. Good. That's what you want in a haunted neighborhood. Boring. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. It's like, it's like if you do a ghost tour, you get some interaction. You just drive down haunted roads and okay. If there were
Yep.
ghosts there, they were looking at it going, "What are these some bitches doing?"
Yeah. Yeah. They were sleepy. It's-
Yeah, they're like, "It's 2 o'clock in the morning, y'all. Go home,
yep.
get some sleep. We want to rest too."
That's it. That's it. We're only open Monday and Friday. Come on, Monday, Friday.
There you go. Or they're only open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We were like a
Mm-hmm.
Thursday or something.
Mm-hmm. The other thing about when you go to the gift shop there at the Maker's Mark Distillery, you can they have all the bottles that are fresh coming off the line, and you could pick a fresh bottle if you want, I guess, and they're not waxed at the time, so you get to
Yeah,
pick it out of the crate and take it over to the wax bin with them, and you put on this smock, and they make you put some goggles and gloves on, and then you can dip your own bottle in for a little bit of wax. I mean, I see people waxing them all the way down to the bottom. Uh,
yeah.
and
I
you
know
can have,
there's some people who look for the deep dunks
yep,
on the store shelf. That's what they're looking for from makers.
yep, yep,
You know, what's funny is how many of them will like record their bourbon hunts and it's like that's what I'm looking for, and they go, "Oh yeah, I found it," and then leave the shelf.
yeah, yeah, yep, yeah, right,
Like
exactly,
so, you're not buying it. You're just looking for it for
yeah,
fun.
yeah, found it. Okay, leave it
Okay,
alone now. Yeah, found it.
yeah.
Leave it alone.
It's like a watching those videos is like watching a fishing show.
Yeah, yeah,
Look at this big old bass we caught. We're gonna put it
it's,
right back in the water.
that's just what are we doing? That's crazy. That's
It's like, have you guys never heard of a fish fry?
yeah, yeah, ridiculous. Um, when we used to go to the distillery back when it was in the industrial days, uh, they just post 9/11, year or two after 9/11, right? So uh, they would let you come in with any container, And I used to bring the 1 quart canteen and the collapsible 2 quart canteen. They would walk it off and fill it up and bring it back to you and put your cap on it and you dunk it in the wax and they would go, "Thank you for your service," and you were taking home a half gallon for free, every time we went. We'd go down
Oh
there probably
man,
every couple of weeks and refill and then drink it out of 2 quart canteens.
that's the way to. That's living life.
Yep.
Yeah.
They
See,
don't
I
do
got
that
out.
anymore. So if you're at
Yeah,
Fort Knox, don't go down there and expect that anymore.
yeah. See, I got out in '96, pre nine
Right.
eleven, so I never got any of that.
Yeah. It
I
was
came in like still post Gulf War high.
gotcha. Gotcha.
My National Defense Medal says Desert Storm, Desert Shield.
Gotcha.
Um, yeah, I was that was over before I signed papers. But
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
want to give me the medal, I'll take the medal.
Right. Right.
I'll take the whole. Yes, you're a war veteran.
Yeah.
I never left CONUS.
Yeah. Well,
How am I a war veteran?
yeah. I hear you. You know what you did? You
American
signed
Legion doesn't care.
you signed the blank check is what you did. It's not your fault they didn't call you.
Well, and I I take a certain pride in that. That I joined at a time when we didn't know if we were going to be needed,
Yeah.
which meant we could be sent. Our whether or not we cared about it, we agreed with the war or not,
Yeah.
we could be sent. It's not like post 9/11. A lot of guys enlisted because they saw the planes hit the towers and like, oh hell no.
Yeah.
Mad respect for everybody
Yeah.
in that war. Those who were affected by 9/11 on some level. I was. It's not every day much over 3,000 Americans die
Yep.
on your TV screen.
Yeah.
So I'm not taking anything away from those guys who this is where I want in.
Yeah.
You know,
It was
but
weird. You figured we'd had 10 years of relative world peace at that point, since the Gulf War.
mm,
Um, and in fact, I graduated OCS 3 weeks before 9/11. Uh,
ooh,
and we started with Army OCS, started with 88 people in my class, graduated 33. And during that 3 weeks, we still hadn't shipped off to any place yet, to your next duty station, your next school.
mm,
And we had, I think it was 6 or 7 people just resigned their commission. and when 9/11 happened, and they were like, listen, I'm not gonna lie, I was in this for the college benefits or for whatever else, and they went home.
Oh, that one that got me when I was in.
Yeah,
Because I remember in A school, we were most of us were under 21
yeah,
in Navy A school. What Army AIT
yes,
is the equivalent.
yep,
So, for people who aren't familiar with either of those, you go through basic training and then you go through your job training.
yes,
In Army, they call it AIT, Advanced Individual Training. In the Navy, it's called an A school.
right,
Then we have C schools, which are more specialized.
right,
But I'm in A school, hospital corpsman A school.
yep,
We've got outside the classrooms, there are plaques for all the corpsmen who received the Medal of Honor,
mm, yeah, and it's
including
a lot.
most of them posthumous,
Yeah,
and most of them were posthumous.
yeah,
Because like I tell people, above and beyond the Call of Duties, what gets you a Medal of Honor, what for most MOSs, most A schools, ratings, most whatever, above and beyond the Call of Duty is our job.
yes, yeah,
So you got to do something special
yeah,
to get on that wall. So it was knew this was a fact, and we were going to the club at Great Lakes Naval Training Center.
great mistakes.
Great mistakes, absolutely, and some of were and most of us were under 21, and
Yep,
I was kind of griping because we could be sent to war tomorrow, but we can't get a beer now. You know,
ridiculous,
and
ridiculous.
this one girl who's in my class, I enlisted for the college money. I don't even want to think about going to war.
Yeah,
And I'm like, honey, you should have joined the Peace Corps.
yeah, right,
Like, sorry, hate to break it to you. This is not, like this is the armed forces.
right,
And I can, I'm 99%. She's somebody who did her 4 years, got out, you know, um, I'm also probably pretty sure that she's also those who is very much thank me for my service
yeah,
on Veterans Day.
yeah,
Uh, you
yeah,
know, she takes advantage of all the free veteran stuff, and when
right,
people thank her for her service, she nods gravely and well, yeah,
yeah,
it was my honor. I was the guy who actually sat there and was like, guys, realize there's a chance that not all of us will live to finish out our enlistment.
yeah,
Now,
yeah. Because
this
listen,
was 93.
where they're
This
sending
one,
when they send
yeah,
people into harm's way, they send the docs with them. You know.
right. And who was on the beach? Usually the Marines.
Yep. Yep.
Guess who the Marines can always take with them?
That's right.
Navy corpsmen.
Nobody without nowhere without Doc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I got a funny story. Not really funny, but just kind of funny
Yeah.
that you might get a kick out of. I was going to AC school.
Okay.
I was in between, classes, so I had some time. I was in Portsmouth, Virginia.
Right.
I went to Washington D.C. for a weekend,
Okay.
and was milling about the mall there.
Yep.
And I felt obligated to go to the Vietnam War Memorial. My dad was a Vietnam veteran.
Yep.
The one time we went there as a family, it was the only time I'd ever seen my cry.
Okay.
He
Yep.
never even looked at a name on the wall. Just
Yep.
looking at the wall was too much for him.
Yep.
So I felt obligated to go. And I don't know if it's still the case, but back then you would also have people with like some pop up tents
Yeah.
selling stuff.
Right. 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 Yeah.
Apparently they had permits or whatever. I'm happen to be wearing a shirt from my core school class.
Okay.
And I'm walking by this one booth, and the guy's like, huh, been a while since I saw a core school t-shirt.
Right.
He knows what a corpsman is.
Yep. Yep.
I must talk to this gentleman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it turns out he was an old Vietnam era corpsman.
Right.
And he told me that in his A school class, there were 3 of them that went some kind of special operation.
Okay.
One was going SEALs, he went recon, and they had one went search and rescue.
Okay.
Everybody else was going to be going General Marine Doc.
Gotcha.
And they all looked at him and says, you 3 are the ones who are most likely to die from our class. And he's like, you want to know what? We're the only 3 that came home.
It's crazy. That's yeah. Yeah.
It put some stuff in perspective for me, and I already thought I had pretty good perspective.
Yeah. I've been to many war sites, battle sites, memorials. I've never been to the Vietnam Memorial, um, and it's because uh, I don't think I can handle it. They were the Vietnam generation. Those military guys were a huge impact on not only my military career but my upbringing, my youth,
Yeah.
and just honestly don't know
Well,
if I can handle it. Don't know if I can handle it.
from our generation, those Vietnam guys were our little league coaches or football,
Yeah,
popular football coaches. They
yeah,
were our scout masters.
yep.
They were our Civil Air Patrol
They were
commanders.
they were my platoon sergeants when I first joined. They were
Hmm.
all of that. They were like you said, the
They
coaches.
were our mentors on
Yeah,
every level.
yeah,
You know, for they were a mentor to somebody
yeah,
at some time.
yeah,
Um, and so it is hard.
yeah,
I think it was a little easier having gone with Dad. We didn't even mean to go to DC. We
yeah.
were going to Arlington and miss the cutoff, miss the
Right,
turn.
right.
And Dad was like, "If we're going to be in DC, I've got to go."
Yeah,
He's like, "I don't want to go, have to go."
right. I get it. I
And
get it.
we get there, and the closest Dad ever got was the statue of the three veterans of the three
Gotcha.
soldiers.
Yeah, carrying a 60
That's
one over his shoulder, and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
He didn't get any closer than that.
yeah,
Um, and he. I remember watching him cry, and my dad didn't cry. I was there when both he lost both of his parents,
yeah.
and I never saw him cry. I'm
There's that.
sure he did. You know,
There's that one painting of middle-aged vet, and you know which one I'm talking about when I say the one
yeah,
painting. You know which one I'm talking about. It's the
yeah,
middle-aged vet in a suit, got his jacket over his shoulder, and he's leaning with his
hand
hand
over
against,
on the wall.
and you can see the dead vets on
Yeah,
the other side leaning back against him. So
yeah. Um,
and I just even
I'm
talking
having,
about
I'm
that's
having.
tough. I mean, that's
I was about to say, I'm fighting being choked up
yeah,
right
I can't. I don't even
thinking
know if
about
I
it.
can go to the wall. Let me tell you a Vietnam vet story since we're talking about it. Well, you know what? Let me
Yeah,
give you another description of this before we start expanding and dropping water and telling more stories.
yeah,
The difference between the 46 to me, a little bit of that little bit of extra flavor, and the
hmm
difference between that and a regular Maker's Mark, it almost tastes like I know it's the wrong word, like it's creamier, like it's got like a higher viscosity. It's almost like it's it it it's it slides over your tongue and your mouth different than a regular Maker's Mark. It
Well,
like clings to you, you know?
if you do this with your glass,
Yeah,
right, and regular makers will slosh them right back down.
yeah,
It doesn't really have any legs,
right.
but the 46, it sloshes up, and then you can just kind of see almost like an oily film
Exactly right. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
come down.
yes, and
And yeah, it definitely has it, and it has I think it's a longer finish.
yeah, yeah,
Um, it but regular makers doesn't have those legs. This does, and yet it's funny. You describe it as well. There's this oily, nature to it, and somebody that doesn't know anything is going to look sit here and go, "Yeah,
yeah. And you listen,
that sounds
it can be
nasty."
it might be the natural oils from the wooden staves that they put in there. It might be as simple as that, but it's definitely got like you said, it's got legs. It's got it
Mm,
holds better. I'm not sure
yeah,
how to describe that.
it kind of coats the mouth. This is
Yeah,
what people talk about with mouth feel.
yeah, it does. Yeah,
You
it's
know,
like a film
it
almost,
just
but not in a nasty way. You know?
right. It's the problem is the English language doesn't have words
Right, right.
really to describe this. We've
Yeah,
used regular words from the English language to sort of try to describe it. And they're not inaccurate. They just
right.
have connotations that a lot of
Yeah,
people think of as nasty, and it's
yeah.
not.
Right, right.
It is a very pleasant kind of film.
Yep.
Uh, it's almost to kind of come up with something that's similar. Remove all the flavor notes, but it's
Yes.
almost like having a peppermint in your mouth. In
Yeah,
that
not a
that
strong
little
one
bit
by
comes in,
any
it
means, but yeah,
covers everything.
yes,
That
yeah, yeah,
little bit you drink covers everything
yeah,
and provides an overall
yeah,
feeling
yeah,
in your mouth.
yeah,
That's where the similarities end because
yep.
this is nothing like a peppermint.
No, nothing,
Uh,
no.
I wouldn't even want to try to do a peppermint and a Maker's.
No, 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 no. That's for putting in your sea breeze or whatever it is, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Sea
Um,
breeze and a Jolly Rancher, something. Um,
Zima and a Jolly Rancher
there
is
you
what
go,
it was
Seaman and
back in
Jolly
the
Rancher.
day.
There you go. So we had.
I never actually had that. I always saw
Oh
this
no,
at the
I
clubs drinking it though.
couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. So when
Yeah,
we deployed, we went, contract air. It was oh, what's the name of it? Atlas Air, I think it was. We went on, and we actually went out in the middle of the night through Bangor, Maine was the last stop on the stateside, and we stopped there, and there was probably 30 or 40 World War II vets there. Those guys were there with cell phones and gift cards, just so we didn't have to buy anything in the airport or use our own phones to call home. So those guys were wonderful. And to think about, I mean, we're talking about guys at the time that were 70s and their 80s, and it was 1 in the morning, and they were there waiting for us. Um,
yeah,
but but over a year later, when we came back through Atlanta Airport. Uh, and again, it's like 2, 3 in the morning. The rest of the airport's shut down. There's nothing there except the late flights, the ones that are over scheduled. And we're walking through, and it's 100 of us, and airport's dead quiet. And we come around the corner. We got to go from one terminal to another. And if you've been to Atlanta Airport, it's not a short trek. You gotta move.
Oh no,
But all the
they have a train.
right. Well, the trains are not moving after midnight, so we've got
No.
to walk from one terminal to another. Well,
Ooh,
crap, we're soldiers. We're coming back from World
that's
War.
fair.
No big deal. And as we're walking between them in this rotunda between, which you would normally never see because you take the trains, but there's this rotunda between a couple of the terminals. And as we enter it, there's got to be over 100 Vietnam vets in there, and this is 2 or 3 in the morning, and they're there waiting for us. We were probably a couple hours late. Every one of them waited for us, and just and it wasn't like giving gifts. It was, here's the cell phones, call home, because nobody had our phones on us. We didn't have that crap.
Right,
Um,
right.
and we're stopping, we're calling home, but these guys, Tom, were from every walk of life. From the guy who's now a multi gazillionaire to the guy who probably had to get a ride to come down there because he couldn't afford it. But every
Mhm.
one of them was there to welcome us home, to make sure what happened to them didn't happen to us.
Yeah, what people don't understand about serving is you sign that your name on on that line,
Yeah.
and you hold up that right hand at MEBS, and then you go through the boot camp process. You're now part of a fellowship. There's nobody else out there that can really relate to a veteran but a veteran
Yeah.
on that front.
Yeah.
It was funny because I came home on leave the first time,
Right.
and one of my good friends, guy lived 2 doors down from me. He had gone National Guard.
Yeah.
While I'd been gone.
Right.
So of course he's home because it's National Guard.
Yeah.
You know, um, and yeah, there's plenty of jokes about that, but really it's because those of us who are active duty are just jealous.
Yeah.
We wish we were home too.
Yeah.
But we're sitting there and we're talking, and he's like, "You're the only one of my friends from 2 years ago I can relate to anymore."
It's the same way whether you find yourself back at the VFW or something like that. It's the same way. I try to tell my friends at my cop friends. I was a cop for many years, and this topic will come up, and they're like, "Oh no, we share that." I'm like, "Listen, bro, love you like a brother. It's not the same. It's not.
No,
There's something. You and I could work each other. We could go to life and death situations all day long, but you
it's
and I
a
have never had to,
different.
yeah, you and I've never had to
It,
dig a hole in the ground to survive together, and
right.
it's
You know,
different. It's different.
I grew up around law enforcement. I know the job as well as anybody who's never worn the badge can.
Right.
And I always qualify it that way
Yeah.
because my dad did the job. I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I would say that the bond in law enforcement is similar,
Yeah.
but it's separate
Yeah.
because I don't share that bond with a cop.
Yeah.
Now, if he's a veteran, we've got a bond.
Yeah.
We've got a very deep bond at that point
Yeah.
because you put on the uniform. You put on that uniform.
Yeah.
Because you say the uniform, you know, it's funny. Police have a uniform, but they refer to it as putting on the badge
That's it. Yep.
because that's the differentiation, right?
Yep.
A uniform didn't have a badge.
Yep.
So it's our uniform. They put on the badge. My dad walked both worlds quite easily.
Yeah.
For him, it was a little different because at that point, most of the guys who went in law enforcement were Vietnam vets.
Hmm.
So, yeah, it was kind of the same thing because they were both in both camps.
Right. It
So
don't
it really didn't matter.
Don't get me wrong. It's close. It's that's why most veterans end up in public service because they're looking for that attachment again. Whether it's a cops, fireman, whatever it happens to be. EMS.
Mhm.
It's that always be ready to do the worst things possible or the greatest things possible, saving lives. So
And there's that adrenaline aspect too.
yeah, yeah,
If you've been in combat, and some people get a certain thrill from it,
yeah,
even with the terror.
yeah.
I'm not saying they ignore that, but they kind of like life loses its flavor without that.
There's a I describe it on a scale from 1 to 10. Normal reactions, right? With say 5 right in the middle, 1 being the extreme reaction to the left, and the 10 the extreme reaction to the right. And for those that come back from combat, that the middle's numb. There's nothing in the middle anymore. There's
Yeah.
the normal everyday. Oh, you heard a car crash or a balloon popped. You just like whatever. It's you. In order to feel anything, it's got to be an extreme, either left or right,
Well,
to get you
to
there.
put it in some perspective, my dad was on some medication to make him a little jittery.
Right.
He had a very short temper when he was on the medication.
Right.
The medication was a result of Agent Orange exposure.
Yeah.
So, service connected.
Yeah.
But, he would lose it on me pretty
Yeah.
quick. Being ADHD, I gave him plenty of reason. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
But we're in North Carolina. We're going to Virginia for a trip, for vacation. And we decided, hey, let's take this scenic route. It looks like it's about the same length.
Right.
And that was because the map didn't have enough to show all the twists and turns
Okay.
that were horrific.
Yeah.
And so we were like, okay, let's get off this. And we are on Mount Mitchell,
Okay.
which is apparently the highest mountain in North Carolina.
Okay.
I would get terribly car sick, so I would usually sleep in the back of the car, or in this
Gotcha.
case, our van. I wake up and we are flying around these curves. Like,
Yeah.
remember how we were talking about the good old boys
Yep.
flying
Yep.
around you? Yeah,
Yep.
we're doing
Yep.
this, only we've never been on this road before in our lives.
Right. Right.
And I'm sitting there in the back, and I'm like, aren't we taking these turns awfully fast? My mom's in the passenger seat, says, shut up, we don't have any brakes. Now, I
Yeah.
was 16
Brake
at the
fade.
time.
Yep. Yep. Brake fade. Yep.
I was 16 at the time, and I think I handled it about as well as I could when I went,
Yeah.
oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, my parents both heard it.
Yeah.
Nobody said anything because I just said what they were thinking.
Yeah.
We get to the bottom. Somehow, miracle of miracles, we managed to get to the bottom. We've gotten a little bit of break there. Dad's, had handled it perfectly.
Yep.
Right. He was so calm.
Yeah.
Because he'd been in combat. This was actually not that bad.
Yeah.
But we get to the bottom of the mountain. It's a holiday weekend, but there's a garage right at the bottom of the mountain.
Yep.
And the owner's in there working on his personal vehicle. We pull up and we're like,
Yep.
hey, look, we know y'all aren't open. This is what's happened. Dude's like, there's a diner at the end of the block, end of the block.
Yeah.
Go get you something to eat by the time your brakes fix.
Yep.
He did not screw us over or anything. But I was always very, very impressed with the fact that this man who always lost it on me over little stuff was completely chill during the most hair-raising moment of my life at that point. We should have
It's
died.
so
But
I've known guys, and and now that you listen, there's all sorts of services available to learn to cope or deal with or whatever like that. Not that everybody needs to cope or deal, but I'm sorry, but everybody that comes back is going to deal with things differently, and that's just it. Certain things you just deal with differently,
yeah,
and I know people that are you know super sensitive, and if a balloon pops, they're under the table, and the rest of us are sitting there like, what was that? I mean, everybody goes, oh, but it doesn't. I don't do anything. I don't move at all. It's just whatever.
well,
Yeah.
it's funny. My dad told me a couple years before he passed away that he had more PTSD from being a cop than Vietnam.
Yeah. Yeah.
20 law enforcement. That is, 25 years total.
Yeah.
He did 20 years, Albany Police Department, was police chief in Leary for a number of years,
Yep.
and did some other odds and end law enforcement stuff here and there.
Yep.
But he had more PT. He said, he's like, I wake up more, I have more issues with stuff from law enforcement than I did Vietnam. Because Vietnam was so much different
Yeah.
than home
Well,
that
it's
he was able to separate it. Not everybody can. And I'm not even sure that's what happened with him, but he didn't have near as much issue after he got home and acclimated.
right, and that's a big difference in the two of them. Is back then again, now most of the both have better coping mechanisms now, but you're gone with the military. You're immersed in it for however long you're there, and you just deal with it while you're there. The in law enforcement, it's put it on for 12 hours, turn it off for 12 hours, put it on for 12 hours, turn it off for 12 hours.
Yeah. There was one example where Dad was definitely having some fatigue. R&R, Hawaii.
Yeah.
Meets up with my mom. They hadn't seen each other in months.
Yep.
It's Hawaii. Hey, they're still relatively newlywed.
Mm-hmm.
They're crashed out in the hotel room at night, and a fire truck goes by.
Yeah.
Happens everywhere. Every community in the country will have a fire truck at some point during the year drive through in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Dad rolls out of bed, covers his head, realizes mom's still in bed, gets up, pushes her out of the bed. He thought he was being shelled.
Yeah.
Heard the siren and immediately thought air raid.
And it could be something as simple as because he was sleeping in the warmth and humidity of a place that was very similar to the place that had happened to him, and that's what triggers it.
Yep.
All right, I'm going for the cap full of water in my 46.
I am going to put a couple drops in mine, and we'll see how that does.
I mean, it's very, very. It's not like last week's where neat. It was kind of intolerable. This is very enjoyable the way it is. So I'm gonna a couple drops in.
I can't find the ethanol on the nose at all.
Gone. It's gone.
It's we probably have about the same amount of water in.
Yeah.
I didn't measure with the cap because of my water bottle, but it's not much.
No, it's just caramely now, and vanilla is all I'm getting. Right? All right. Here I go. Let me get with you.
Yeah. I'm not noticing a strong difference on the taste for me.
I'm getting that warmth that was only at the back before is now on the sides, and it's not as deep as warmth in the back. It's mellowed.
Yeah, now that you mention it,
it's mellowed it out and made it more even throughout the taste.
But it is, the flavors themselves are still present.
Yes.
Everything that we identified. I'm catching a little less stone fruit on the middle palate,
right,
than I did before, but it's still sort of there. But it's really, it's still very pleasant to drink.
Very pleasant. Like I said, I mean, I think it's just depends on how you like it. This makes it a much more even mellowness, as opposed to the mellow up front and a little stronger on the back end. I think this evens it out.
And yeah, at this point, it's really which do you prefer?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's like I said, it's remarkably chill. You know, it
This is now to give
is
you an idea, folks.
laid
This
back.
is as you drink it now. You know, normally you drink any alcohol at the end of it, you go, ah, "That's gone now.
Yeah,
That is gone now."
yeah.
And
This is
listen, we didn't water it down. This is not half water. This is
no,
a couple drops. You know, it's amazing
yeah.
how that opens it up.
You know, and if you need a half and half water to handle something like this, go right
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah,
Um, Bourbon can be a little higher proof than some other
yeah,
alcohols.
yep,
Uh, my brother-in-law brought a rum over for New Year's
right,
that he absolutely raved about. And I was like, I drank it, and I was like, I was picking up tasting notes, and I was,
yeah,
all this stuff, and I was like, but it's just really smooth. Then I looked it up, and I was like, yeah, no wonder it's 70 proof.
yeah. There you go. That's why. Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yep.
but if you're used to 70 proof, this is a 94 proof.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 94 proof from 70 to 94 might be too big of a jump for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you need to add more water, go right ahead.
That's absolutely amazing. It's clearly a different taste profile to it now. Same flavors,
Mhm.
but the way it moves, the way it hits you. Like I said before, all the taste was at the front of your mouth for the sweetness and the back for the warmth. Now it's all over. It's an all over taste now.
Yeah, it. I think I prefer it without personally.
Right.
But if someone goes, yeah, put a couple drops of water in this for you,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go, oh God, you just screwed it up.
Yeah. 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 Just just trying to make the point that what how it changes. It doesn't matter. Like sometimes you don't need it. In that 1792, we needed it. You know, and it made it.
Mhm.
Wow. I'm gonna go buy another bottle of this. You know.
Right. Well, it's like we said last week.
Yeah.
You took a drink. When I mentioned, hey, let's do this bottle, you were like,
Yeah.
oh crap.
This is
And
horrible.
by the end, you're like, I'm not sure if it'll last the week.
Yeah. Yep.
And
Right.
not because you're like, okay, I'm done. I'm pouring it down the drain.
Dropping a cube in it, seeing what the
Yeah.
chillness does to it.
Yeah. I did not bring in ice.
That's all
I
right.
thought about it,
That's all right.
but I didn't.
Obviously, it's going to smooth it out just a little bit with that more water, but just let me see what the chill does to it here.
What you got?
You know, at our first couple of samples, it was 94, and it didn't taste like a 94. It still tasted 85. It's got a very good smooth taste. It handles
Right.
the ethanol well. This right now,
Mhm.
if you sat down and gave it to me like that and said, "I'll give you $1,000 if you can guess within 5% of what the alcohol content on this is," I'd be wrong. I'd say this was between a 70 and 80 right now.
Yep. Now
Just
I will.
just the way it levels it out, and that ethanol's gone some way, and maybe I should look it up if we're going to be doing bourbon analysis. But the way that coldness bonds with the that ethanol, it eliminates it.
Yeah, I would say that if you don't like if you like it neat but you want to try it cold, definitely go with something like Whiskey Stones,
Yeah, or chilled glass,
because
something like
or
that. Yeah,
chilled glass or something like that.
yeah,
That won't add water if you don't like
correct,
the addition of water.
correct.
Because ice, like, okay, Mike's drinking it
Yeah,
with the ice cube just added.
yeah,
In 10 minutes, that's going to be a completely different drink.
it is. It absolutely is.
You know,
You're absolutely right. Yeah,
so if it's like, by all means, experiment.
yeah,
You really should experiment.
yeah,
And if you drinking something and you find that, hey, I really like this cold, but I don't
yeah,
like it watered down
yep,
as much,
yep.
go with Stones, go with a chilled glass, whatever. I tend to suggest Stones just because they're easier to store
Right, right.
than a glass. But hey, you do you.
Now,
But
if you're the kind of person that's going to experiment by putting like Coca Cola or something like that in it, here's what I need you to do. I need you to put the cap back on your whiskey, set it to the side, continue to watch the show, and we get to the end and the credits are there. Look at the address and mail it to Tom or I so we can get rid of it properly for you. Because putting
Yeah,
Coca-Cola in your
exactly.
maker's mark is just going to
Yeah.
get you hit with a chair at a bar.
Um, Now, if you've got regular makers
Yeah.
and it was like, I like this for cocktails, I'm not gonna say
Oh
much.
no, no, but that's there's the
For
good
25
bourbons
bucks,
are made to to
yeah,
go in to go into Manhattan, to smoke, that's different. That's using the good bourbon and those other flavors to enhance the bourbon.
yeah,
If you're putting Coke in it, it's because the bourbon's too strong for me.
right. Now, I would use something like this in an old fashioned,
Yes. Oh,
because old
absolutely. Yeah.
fashioned is
Yeah.
just a little bit of bitters, a little bit of sugar,
Yep.
and bourbon.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know,
Very much.
um, now if you just gotta mix it with Coke, if you're somebody who's like, I don't handle it, I drink cocktails,
Mhm.
get regular makers.
Yeah.
This isn't for you.
Yeah. Get you a
You're
bottle of
not
Jim
not
Beam.
yet.
Yeah. Get you some Evan
Bottle of
Williams
Jim Beam,
Jim Beam. You're gonna mix it with
Jack
Coke.
Jack Daniels and Old Number Seven.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, those are made as mixers.
Yeah. Yep.
You're not going to go wrong with it. It's going to be a fine drink.
Yep.
I will say that using a better bourbon as your mixer in a bourbon and Coke does enhance the bourbon and Coke.
Sure it does. Yeah. Sure it does.
Um, when I first started kind of had my awakening on whiskey, one of the first things that happened was a bartender used 12-year-old Jameson
Oh.
in a whiskey and Coke instead of just regular Jameson. And it was like, oh my God, this is so good.
Yeah.
This,
Yeah.
this, what just happened?
Right.
you know, and when they're like, well, yeah, we did this. And I'm like, oh, I know what I need at home.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
good stuff. Good
it
stuff.
is.
This is and at this price, I mean you're talking top shelf at $35 is what you're talking about.
Right. Now, there's a lot of people who prefer like the Maker's drink.
Yeah.
Maker's has a 101 now,
Yeah.
which is 101 proof. Yeah.
Right. But that
Hence the
doesn't have
name.
right. That doesn't have the flavor profile this does. That's the standard maker's profile without the extra
Mhm.
staves in it at the higher proof. It's
Um,
it's good.
I
You know
do
what
think they do a Maker's 46 cask strength though.
they do, and I've got that one right here.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to that. Higher. I'm still working my way up on proof.
Oh, it's out of reach. Out of reach. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm still developing my taste buds
Yeah.
around higher proofs.
Yep.
Um, right now 94, 95 is a pretty good spot for me.
Let me see.
Um,
This one is yeah. I'll let you read the proof off of there. Let's see if I can do this for you.
hold on a second here. 110.3.
Yep.
Wait a second. Okay, this one is 108.8.
Gotcha. Yep. And I've got a couple of those back over here. And you can tell by this you can see the line in the bottle here. I absolutely hate it. It's horrible. Yep.
Can't stand it. It's just
Nope.
awful.
Nope.
And the reason this bottle this is just a neck pour is I've only had this like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
No
know,
worries. Nobody's judging you.
No. I've got, you know, Wild Turkey 101.
Yep.
I've had a bit of it.
Yeah.
This has actually been one I've been trying to make myself like more.
I like the 101 more than the regular wild turkey because the regular wild turkey just seems so like it seems lighter than the 80% that it is.
Yeah. And I've had a little bit more peppery with this.
Yeah.
But there was, to give you an idea what, how situation can change a taste.
Yeah.
I was doing a lot of grilling during the summer because, well, grilling is awesome.
That's what you do.
And I would fix me a lot of times Wild Turkey 101.
Yep.
And I would sit there and kind of sip it, and it would kind of bite me a little bit.
Yep.
And I'd kind of, it tasted good, but it was a little higher proof.
Yep.
Right. I mean, if I hated it, I wouldn't have gotten this far down the bottle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but it was, a little bit of a slog. And then this one day, for some reason, everything was perfect.
Yep.
And I swear to God, it was the best stuff I'd ever drank in my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was just incredible. And then the next day, I'm like, I've broken through that 101, that 101 proof barrier.
There you
Next day, nope, it's kicking my ass again.
go.
You know, um, so there's more experimentation is going to be done with this.
hmm
Uh, and folks, some of that experimentation is going to be done on air
Oh yeah.
because
Yeah.
why not? We have an excuse to
Yep.
drink.
There we go. There we go.
You know, like, why do you drink so much? Well, we've got a show about it. I
Yeah.
don't
Listen,
want to consume bourbon. This is work.
it's
It's a
work,
hard
folks.
job.
It's work. It's what
It's
we
a
do.
hard job.
It's what we
It,
do.
it's we do this for you, folks.
Yep. Yep.
We're for you.
That's it. That's it. It's we don't do this for us, man. It's trying
No,
to make
no, no.
life better for you.
This wasn't an excuse to get Mike on a live stream and drink with him.
No, not
No.
at all. Not at all.
And when we do the Second Amendment Freedom Festival down in Ocala
Woo.
in February, this isn't going to be an excuse to drink in person.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll tell you what our goal for that one is, folks. Slur free podcast. That's what we're trying to do. Slur free. Slur free.
We do not have high hopes.
Yeah, well, we've got a number of interviews stacked up back to back, so that whereas the interviewee might be trying a bourbon for the first time, it might be yours and I's fifth interview. That's
Yes. And just so people don't think we're like trying to co-opt this, Kevin Sauna, who put this together, who we
yeah,
made copious fun of last week,
yeah,
has explicitly said, guys, bring bourbon down
yeah,
and record.
yeah,
Right. Not only are we doing it with permission, we've been asked to do it.
yes,
So, and really for a podcast on its third episode, being asked to show up at an event's good.
yeah, yeah. So
Um,
we can have some
and
fun
it,
with it.
and for the record, Kevin will when this goes live, Kevin will probably write a comment that says first
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
because he has on the first two.
He will try.
If he doesn't, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Yeah, yep.
But we're going to have a good time down there. We're going to probably have to work out who's bringing what.
Oh yeah,
because obviously I've got some bottles here worth bringing.
yep.
Mike has a lot more bottles.
I'm gonna bring some actual shine with me for that one also. I figure since it's a camping event, we should have a shine tasting as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, again, if you pay tax on it, it ain't shine.
That's right.
I don't care what the label says.
That's right.
It's
That's
unaged whiskey.
Yep. Yep.
It's if it doesn't come from the moonshine region of Tennessee, it's a sparkling white whiskey.
There you go. Exactly right. Exactly right. What's the dates for his thing? I want to make sure we could pump that.
The February 24th.
Okay, so we got just over a month. Okay.
Yeah.
About 5 weekends.
I'm actually getting camping equipment because last year I stayed at a hotel right off I-75.
Which is where I will be this year. I will stay there with you till 2-3 in the morning, and then Uber or mosey myself, get somebody to give me a ride over to the hotel because after all them years in the Army and overseas, I don't sleep on the ground for free no more.
Yeah, it's funny because Kevin and I were chatting, and he's like, "Yeah, Mike ain't camping."
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Now I might set up a tent, and I might set up my gear just so I can relax while I'm there. But when it's nappy nap time, see you guys later.
Honestly, with what he said about the layout and the fact that the campground is going to be right next to the event this year.
Yeah.
Last time I was there, it was like 3 miles away.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I'm going to get over to the event.
Yeah, right.
I mean, honestly, if people are coming, we're bringing people into the campground.
Yep.
We're interviewing them. We're obviously drinking.
Yep.
We got to see if we can get Eric Pratt over.
Yes.
Because I love talking to Eric.
Yep.
Last time I went, I found myself just talking with him most of the day.
Yep.
He's just a great guy to chat with.
Yeah, he is.
And even if he doesn't drink, we'll just pick up his slack.
I sat next to Eric at one of Rick Ector's events up in Detroit for the
Mhm.
free women shooting event, and we sat next to each other
Yeah.
for a day. And same thing, just a great conversation all day long there.
Yeah. It's funny. People, obviously he is a name in the Second Amendment community.
Yeah,
He is one of the names in the Second Amendment community, really.
yeah,
Um, Easily one of the most recognizable figures
yep,
in Second Amendment, up there with, like, say, an Alan Gottlieb. Um, Only slightly less recognizable than uh, outgoing NRA honcho Wayne LaPierre.
thank
Um,
about time, right? Come on,
right. Oh dear Lord.
let's get
Yeah.
the NRA back in the NRA. Yep,
Right. Um, it was funny because last time we were teasing him about, what, you don't have like bespoke suits?
yeah,
What is the GOA doing with our money?
yeah, right, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because it was right after all that stuff broke about Wayne and the suits. So,
yep,
and 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 how is Eric showing up? He's wearing a sports shirt and a pair of slacks.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
one of those. Even if GOA paid for it, they paid like $20.
yeah, yep,
I
absolutely right.
don't know that. I mean, so I don't know they were cheap slacks or anything, but I'm like, they're not.
He was jeans and
It
a
was not
t-shirt
out of.
when we were together. Yeah, he was jeans and a
Yeah,
t-shirt when we were together. Yeah,
you know, very reasonable,
yeah,
very approachable. Great guy to talk to. If you ever
yeah,
get a chance to talk to Eric Pratt, do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
You usually right about now, Mike and I are making fun of somebody. We can't really make fun of Eric.
No,
There's nothing to make fun of,
no, we can't. Yeah,
except that he does not dress as the leader of a prominent Second Amendment organization because he's not wearing $3,000 suits.
he puts the money towards the organization, right? It
That's just crazy talk, man.
doesn't go towards his girlfriend's apartment in the Bahamas.
Right? Which is probably for the best because I'm pretty sure his wife would hurt him.
Yeah. Oh no, no, she was there with us. Yeah, yeah, she would definitely. Yeah,
Yeah. But I had a great time talking to Eric. I'm looking forward to talking to him. I want to get him on camera this time.
yeah, yeah,
And even if he doesn't drink bourbon,
yeah.
which, like I said, we'll pick up his slack. It's fine.
Oh, he's
We
gonna
don't
try.
mind.
He's gonna try.
Yeah.
Listen, unless he's a zero drinker, we're not gonna force it upon anybody. But if he's
But
like, no, I prefer, gin over it, we're gonna be like, yeah, we're changing that right now. Get your butt over here.
you,
Sit down.
you,
Yeah.
you gotta have a whiskey.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Exactly right.
you have to have a sip.
Yep. Yep.
Uh,
You
but
you
Mike and
you
I
might
go,
be the leader of GOA, but if you want to be on, Bang Bang Bourbon, you're having a sip of this. So sit down.
yeah,
Yep.
and really, if he has a sip, we're good.
Yep.
We're happy.
That's it.
If he
That's it.
goes, yeah, I prefer gin. It's like, okay, be weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
That's it.
it's one of those. Well, Eric, we still like you,
That's it. That's it. You
uh,
and your weird gin habit, but
right? Uh, if we have Charlie Cook on, we're gonna have to make sure he's done all of his riding shotgun with Charlie filming for the day. For
oh
the
yeah,
day.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Otherwise, he'd
um,
actually have to be riding because you can't be driving. Yeah,
we was like, why are we doing riding shotgun with Charlie Charlie and shotgun, and
yeah,
Tom and Mike in the back seat?
yeah. I've got
Cheers.
a I've, I got a goal for the riding shotgun with Charlie, and I can't say it. I can't say it. I'm just saying, uh, I was the first one to actually have a shotgun riding shotgun with Charlie, and now I have another one that I want to do with Charlie to get back on the show. Listen, I totally blew that interview. I was so worried about where we were going and where we were driving that I don't think I answered any of his questions. I just we just kept driving along. I was the tour guide
You know,
more than anything else. So
I was a little disappointed that it was 2021, I think, 2020, 2021,
right,
uh, when we met,
yeah,
the event we met.
yep,
Charlie had everything booked. He had
yep,
not. He didn't have time to ask me
yep,
to do riding shotgun.
right,
So I've never done it, even though I have met him in person.
yeah, yep,
I've never been on a show.
yep, yeah. It
I'm
was
looking at you, Charlie. I'm taking it personally.
that's it.
Personally.
Coming for you, Charlie. Coming for you.
Now, obviously, guys, we love Charlie. Um,
Folks, if you don't enjoy riding, that's riding like riding in a car, shotgun with Charlie, and you get over to YouTube and check it out.
yeah,
It's all the names in the firearms and Second Amendment industry riding with Charlie in a car for half hour, an hour, just talking the world of guns and Second Amendment. It's pretty good stuff.
yeah. It's really kind of funny when he has somebody he's reached out to that he doesn't really know.
Yeah.
and they're sitting in the car like, "Am I being kidnapped?"
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, he told me that, this is kind of a takeoff on Jerry Seinfeld's Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee.
Right.
Same
But
same vibe,
Charlie was first though. Yeah. Yeah.
but it's Second Amendment.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
was it
it's
James Corbin did it too, right? Riding in cars
yeah,
with the musicians or whatever.
yeah.
And,
It's this kind of vibe,
yeah.
but it's gun people.
Yeah.
It's from the gun community. It's a large number of people, um, and the fact that a large number of my friends have been on the show and I haven't only hurts just a little.
Charlie, you see what you're doing? You see what you're doing? Just let's
I,
get this fixed, okay?
I'm okay. Okay, I'm okay. I'm okay that I've been admitted.
There you go. There you go.
I can take it. I know it's personal,
Yeah. We'll get there.
but
We'll get there. Yep. 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 Yep.
but no, I like to tease Charlie.
Yeah.
Um, it's one of these days. If we ever get him on the show, like physically on,
Yeah.
like we are, there's two memes that I swear to God are both Charlie involving bread and milk.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
you probably know which one I'm talking about. I
Yes.
swear to God, it's the same person.
Do you
Charlie
remember?
swears it's not.
Yeah. Here's an idea. I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm just going to throw it out there. Remember when you were a kid? Some of the greatest television I ever saw was the crossover TV shows. Like
Yes.
when Simon and Simon visited Magnum PI. And that kind of stuff. Or when
Or Murder She Wrote went to
Murder
Hawaii.
She Wrote, right, right. Or
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Globetrotters visited Gilligan's Island. That kind of stuff. When they had the crossover stuff going on, right?
Batman and Scooby Doo.
Right. We get Charlie to drive, and you and I are in the back doing Bang Bang Bourbon while he's driving.
Could be hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could be a felony.
Well, we'll try and keep it on private property, but it just Charlie, don't take them turns too soon. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
yeah.
what are Florida's open container laws like?
Well, you can't have any, but you're allowed to have takeout alcohol now, which is different. So I don't understand that.
Okay.
It was a COVID thing.
We had the same thing here.
Yeah, you could have, and they made that law permanent that you can have takeout alcohol now. So
we had the same thing because it was like, Georgia is very, still has a long blue law legacy.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious that it was like, no, you have to fight tooth and nail to have alcohol sales on Sundays. COVID hits.
We still have major cities you can't buy alcohol on a Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah. But then
COVID Saturday hits, midnight is when you realize that,
Yeah. In Virginia, we ran into that at the time, at least, and I think it's still the case.
Yeah.
Alcohol cuts off at midnight.
Yeah.
In the Navy, we would run out of beer at 12:01.
Yeah. Yep.
The hell, man.
Yep.
It was great. I was at a rager of a party one night, and we had a keg. We were having a great time. Floated the keg at 12:15. It was like, well, shit.
Yeah. I guess we're done.
Yeah, and it's funny because we went through the keg pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And there were like 40 people there.
Yeah.
And we killed a keg.
That's enough to float a keg. Absolutely. Yep.
And it was like, if we had floated it an hour earlier,
you'd have been good.
Everyone kick in a few bucks.
That's it.
Let's go get another keg. But, here in the South, there are some weird blue laws. But I can now order. I actually found Blanton's on DoorDash.
Yep. We still can't order alcohol in Florida from out of state. So I can't all those shipping places to get hard to find alcohols, you can't do that in Florida. They're like the wine of the month club, can't get it down here.
Yeah, we run into a lot of that. People will, I get ads for it.
Yeah.
But then, they'll be like, yeah, we'll deliver to yours. And then you try to put an order. They go, no, not really.
No.
So I don't know if it's a local thing, if they just don't want to ship to Georgia, or if Georgia law still says you can't.
It's like trying to get, real ammunition in Tennessee or magazines in California. It's not happening.
Yeah, I kind of want to send magazines to California and ammunition to Tennessee. I want to send hollow points to New Jersey.
That's it. There you go. There you go.
Yeah. Um, and before people get all bent out of shape, I also want to run guns into China and Iran. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
I'm not
Exactly.
I'm not Americentric about disobeying gun laws. I'd disobey them anywhere in the world.
Yeah. I've never run guns into Pakistan or Iran before. I've never done that. Never.
No, I'm sure you haven't. You find upstanding citizen like you.
Oh,
Um, it
the
looks like with
stories.
Hong Kong and everything going on, and I'm sitting here going, how much would a submarine cost?
Ooh. You want like a real sub,
Like
like with a diesel? You want them like them drug runner subs where the
the
nose.
drug runner,
Yeah, there you go. There
because
you go.
they've got cargo capacity.
There you go. That's it. I
You
mean,
know, it's like then they're for getting in places that aren't they're not supposed to be.
that's it.
It's perfect for gun running.
I got it. I'm running down to I'm running down to the islands, picking up some rum, and then I'm taking it straight up the East Coast and trading it for bourbon.
Good trade.
Yeah.
Good trade. You know, my son likes rum.
He's young.
For some reason, well, the Pirates of the Caribbean movies made a good impression on him young, so he's still very into pirate stuff.
Yeah.
Even though at 22 he knows that pirates were not fine, upstanding citizens.
Right. 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 Yeah.
Um, but he still listens to sea shanties. He listens to a pirate metal band called Ailstorm.
And
Uh,
how old is he?
22.
There you go. Okay. All right. Just
Uh, and so he likes rum,
yeah.
but he is not a exclusive rum drinker.
Good. Good. Good.
Um, he actually was going to a party over in Statesboro, Georgia,
Okay.
with some friends of his from when he was at traditional college.
Right.
Uh, but he graduated from vocational school, but he started off in college.
Okay.
And a good friend of his was like, "Hey, I'm going home. Come with." He's like,
Yeah.
"I need some alcohol suggestions," and I told him to grab a bottle of 13th Colony,
Okay.
which is a favorite bourbon of mine.
Yep.
He picked up a bottle, took it, brought the rest of it home. I get to drink it. That may have been behind my purpose, you know, may have been my nefarious purpose or something. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. And now I'm done.
That's it. That'll just about do it. Listen to that. We're wraps it up.
Absolutely.
What are you
Well,
thinking
guys,
about next week? What do we want to do next? Or are we just going to leave it as the teaser at the end again?
I want to do single barrel select.
Okay. Single barrel select. Now, depending on the schedule next week, because I'll be at SHOT Show, we might have to skip a week, or you might have to find yourself a guest co-host for next week. But either way, I'm prepared to do that, and I will buy one of those before I get back, because that's one I don't have in the collection here.
Yeah, I picked this up. It's actually spoiler. It's actually kind of tasty.
Yeah, no, listen, I take it back. I've got a bottle, but it's one of the military heritage bottles, so it's worth more closed than it is open. So I'll just go buy a regular bottle of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like a $50 bottle.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think it's also a good chance for us to talk about single barrels.
Well, yeah, yeah, and remember, it's a Tennessee sipping whiskey. It's not a bourbon technically. So we
We can
will.
we can get into that
Yeah.
debate
Yeah.
because that it is a debate.
Yes.
There's a
Although
lot of debate.
if you go to Jack Daniel's distillery, they'll tell you flat out, not a bourbon. We're a Tennessee sipping whiskey.
But yet, if you look at the process to make Jack Daniels,
Yeah.
it meets literally every requirement to be a bourbon.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been there, been to that distillery also. Them when they were industrial, and then again when they were a resort. But so we can talk about them as well.
I consider them a bourbon, but I also consider Tennessee whiskey a very particular subset of bourbons. Because to get that Tennessee whiskey label, you have to meet pretty much all the requirements of bourbon, anyways.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not like It's not. Yeah, their standard for, like you said, for Tennessee whiskey is as stringent as a Kentucky bourbon label.
Yeah, you have to meet pretty much the same requirements to be a bourbon,
Yep.
and then some more.
Yeah.
So, I would argue that yeah, they're bourbon,
Yep.
but a Tennessee anything that says Tennessee whiskey is generally going to be a bourbon, and then some.
We should do that one with a standard sip of Old Number 7 just to start off with, just as a comparison between the two.
That means I have to buy a bottle of number 7.
Oh, you don't? Okay, well, don't worry about it then. Okay.
I don't have any.
Okay.
I could theoretically get like a sample bottle, get one
There you
of
go.
like the
Yeah,
50
go
mils.
get you a little 1 ouncer. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we didn't pair this with a gun.
Yep. I got my gun. I'm ready.
All right. What you got?
So I'm going with Gucci Glock. Okay.
Hmm.
And I don't want to delve off into higher price stuff because that's not what this is. This is a affordable, everyday bourbon with a little extra. So what does that mean, folks? That means you get your standard Glock, whether you're a 19 guy, 17 guy, 21 guy, whatever it is, or gal. But you went and got yourself the custom cut slide on it with different grooves and scallops, and perhaps you've got your raised night vision, night compatible suppressor sights on it, so they're a little bit higher. You've got you got a little light underneath it, a little touch light. So you've taken your regular Glock, your everyday duty Glock, which is a great gun to begin with, right? But you've made
Mhm.
it a little more special. You've customized it, and that's what this is. Because the 46 is a regular maker's mark, customized with the French oak staves in it, taking it just above. And I think that's where it is for me. It's a standard Glock that I've Gucci'd out and put extra stuff on it that I don't need, but when I do, I'm very thankful that I did.
Mine is actually not that different. I was gonna go with I think Glock actually puts them out in flat dark earth.
There you go.
Uh, and it's
Yeah, it's a
still
little something extra. Yeah,
a
it's
little
how
something
you like it.
extra, but it's only a step above what you're
Yep,
used to from them.
that's right.
Uh,
That's right.
and I agree, Glocks are a great gun. My daily carries is Glock 19.
Yep. Yep. I got you. I'm
Um,
a 30S guy. Yep.
yeah, I was a CZ75B
Yep.
guy. Great gun,
Yeah.
just a bitch to carry.
Yeah. And try and find accessories for it.
Oh
It's yeah.
God,
Yeah.
that's actually a big chunk.
Yeah.
I could deal with the weight
Yeah.
on occasion,
Yeah.
but finding aftermarket stuff for it
Yeah.
was impossible. There was no
Yeah.
option for a light.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you want to put a laser underneath it, or something to help your accuracy that way. Not an option.
Yeah.
Finding magazines was a nightmare.
Yep.
So I dropped $400 on a Glock 19 and haven't regretted it.
Wonderful. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Good
I
stuff.
can get all the magazines I want. I can get aftermarket stuff.
Yep.
Everybody works on them.
Yep.
There's not a holster maker on the planet that doesn't make a holster for a Glock
Yeah.
19.
Yeah. I'm convinced that
Um,
90% of all firearm aftermarket items are for Glock.
Between Glock and 1911.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the 1911 is a small portion because all that's, custom fit. You got to custom fit every one of them, whereas Glock is plug and play.
Well, I'm also thinking about like aftermarket, like magazines. The 1911 magazines are,
Even so, go.
you know,
You go back and forth between. You gotta get some Wilson Combat magazines and put them in a standard old 1911. They're not going to fit. You got to custom
real.
fit and file down. Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Every
Because
1911's got a little bit different tolerance to it.
I've had friends who had 1911s never had that issue,
Yep.
or
Yep.
let me rephrase that. They never reported that issue.
Well, 1911 people don't like to because they want you to think it's just as good as a Glock.
That's
Of
true.
course,
That's true.
just not as good as versatile as.
Yeah. 2 world wars.
I got them.
So,
I love them. I love mine. I love them. But when I've got it's an incredible gun with great reliability. It's but it's 7+1 as opposed to when I'm carrying that Glock 21 and I'm 15+1. I'm doubling up on my 45 ammo.
now I will say, if I'm told, if I'm in, let's say there's a magazine capacity limit,
Yep.
I can only carry 10 rounds.
Yeah.
I'm going to a 45.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
If I can only carry 10 rounds, I want the 10 biggest rounds I can carry.
45 is it's the Lord's caliber. It is what Jesus carried.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, because it's been around that long.
Yeah.
But I'm a 9mm guy generally.
Yeah.
But the big thing with 9mm is I can carry all the rounds I want to carry.
Right. Right.
You take that away, I'm going to just carry bigger rounds.
Yeah. Now there is one thing that the 1911 has over the Glock, even if it's you're going Glock 21 45 caliber to the 1911, and that's pistol whipping.
That's true.
It's just yeah. It's hands
You
down
can
the
just
1911 wins in the pistol whip
you
competition.
just beat the snot out of
Yeah.
with a 1911.
Yeah.
And if you point it at a Nazi, they are contractually obligated to
Yeah.
wet themselves.
They are. Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right.
They don't have a choice. You know,
Yep.
ever since World War II.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
I do need a 1911. I don't have one, and something I desperately want. And someday I want the ultimate barbecue gun. I want not just stainless, but I want that bitch engraved.
Oh yeah.
I want
Yeah.
it to all the scroll work like from
Yeah.
1920s and 30s. I want that
Yep.
sucker to look like a museum piece.
Yep. Yep. There you go. And you can get them. And if you can't
Mhm.
get it to a regular one and send it off, and somebody will do it for you. Yep.
You just got to pay for it. That's
That's
what's that's why I don't already.
yeah. Understood. Understood.
So on that note, we're going to wrap it up again next episode. We'll have to see if this is going to be we're going to be able to do it post shot or not.
Yep.
But you know, we'll figure something out. But next episode, we're doing Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select. It's another 94 proofer, so that if you're wanting to drink with us and you're like, I don't know. Single barrels are usually higher proof. Yeah, this is watered down to make 94 proof. So
That's right. That's right.
get you a bottle, get ready, tune in. And
Yeah.
until next time, be safe.
Drink responsibly.